declare an emergency. The banks are only going to give you, like they did Greece, they let them take out $60 per day. That's all you can take. Even if you had $1 million, you basically, your millionaire status is out the door basically in one day. Now, let's say even worse. FDIC, they say they'll cover you, but in a state of emergency, they don't have to cover anything. We go into a collapse, you're not getting that money. Say we get EMP, everything is based on computers. Computers get wiped. For those of you that don't know what an EMP is, electrical magnetic pulse, which is basically a weapon that's used to be detonated, say 500 miles in the atmosphere, which wipes pretty much the computers, anything electronic, your cell phones, you name it.
Which is also something that happens naturally from the sun. There are solar flares that
right?
are created.
And that could happen, but that's far-fetched as far as most. It has happened, but most people, they're not going to consider that. So let's say something more realistic. We go to war, we get hit with EMP, or the banking system just decide to say, okay, it collapses. They're not going to insure that money. You went from millionaire to zilch, and you're just like everybody else. So that goes on to another situation as far as like, why not have your own bank in your house? Keep your own money in your house in a safe, and we're going to talk about that in another episode. But you're letting somebody else.
But it goes towards prepping
right.
too. Yeah.
Okay, but let me ask you this: you know J.P. Morgan? You hung
Not
out with him?
personally, no.
So, what's the difference between him holding your money? Why don't you let me hold your money for a little while?
Well,
you know me. You know D.
I trust you guys.
Right, but you never met him. So, would you let me hold your bank account?
I do trust you, Donovan.
Right, but would you let me hold your bank account?
Well, I also know what else you have that would secure my money.
Okay.
So I would.
So, but my point is, why would you let J.P. Morgan or Chase or whoever else, Wells Fargo, hold your money? You've never met them.
Sure.
Convenience.
It's convenience, but for you to see your money and be in control and full control, why not hold your own money? That way you got access. You put a safe in your house big enough, you can go walk and forth and get your own cash out your pocket. Out of your safe. But even worse, if that money goes to scrap, and say our money is pretty much like Venezuela and it goes to nothing.
Yes.
And it takes a backpack full of money to go buy a hamburger or hamburger meat or some sugar. That's what they're going through right now. Inflation 500% or whatever. Yeah, and that's ridiculous. So your money turns to nothing, but guess what? You got food. So if you start out prepping with the food, your next thing will be your lights, water filtration, whatnot, flashlights. I mean, we have power outages all the time.
Yes.
So why not protect that? And then guns are a whole other subject. You have to be able to protect your bank, just like the bank protects those investments. So what happens? We go into a collapse or a Great Depression again, and food is what you got. Guess what? You the richest person on your block. Everybody else is doing what? Trying to run to Walmart to find, whatever's left over. Some old nasty ass Pop-Tarts that somebody might have opened up. That's whatever's left over. Whoever kid done sucked off the icing. You just never know. So with that being said, you will be the richest person on your block just by having food.
And it's a very basic necessity.
You the only person on your block sitting, still you got your pot belly, you kicking back.
Why aren't you losing weight?
Yeah, they want to know why you're not losing weight.
No, you don't go outside in those cases.
Yes.
And if they do find out, you can't, say in a collapse of some sort, say we haven't had power in a month, and everybody's sitting up trying to figure out, man, well, what do we do next? Okay, your refrigeration's gone. So with your refrigeration gone, what do you do next? That's where your other foods come in. Now, your other foods being freeze-dried or whatever, dehydrated, whether it's fruits or whatever it may be, you can purchase all those things now, and that will be your insurance over the long term versus you just put that money in the bank, which is not really sustaining. It's $20. You're going to burn that anyway, either in gas, fast food, Starbucks, or whatever your fix may be. For those who out there may be tricking, you burn that off on a woman. Or women buying makeup, MAC, and whatever else you fetish you give. $1,000 heels. Think about it. all these pretty women that we just talked about on the current, previous episodes that are in social media. Look at me. The only person they're gonna be looking for is the man with the food.
The baller.
And that's when you truly balling, because while that model losing weight and shriveled up, she ain't as attractive no more.
Let's hear it for the big girl.
So the only bargaining tool that you're going to basically have is your body.
Right.
Saying, you know how many women in these other countries trick out for a sandwich?
That is pitiful.
No,
Well, I can say that food being the most basic of necessities that's needed. You mentioned something about purifying water. Mm-hmm. Can we touch on that, please? Because that is essential. You need that for
not getting
hygiene.
Typhoid fever.
You need that to hydrate yourself.
Definitely.
To keep yourself, your surroundings clean. And so how do we begin that process?
Okay, so on average, you need 1 gallon of water per person, drinkable water. Especially if you have kids. Most of the time, they used to, soda, tea, whatever it is they normally give them. That's going to pretty much be out the window. So you need to look for, say, a gallon of water that you can push to the side right now. You can purchase it. Of course, when that's out the door, and here's what you got to think about. We buy what's called a Big Berkey. It's a water purification system, which looks like a tin can, but you pour the water on top of it, and it drips through the filters. Carbon filters, and it also other filters that clear out any viruses and whatnot. That gives you a fresh gallon of water within maybe 30 minutes or so. Then, you got the spout. There go your fresh water. It don't need to be cold. But you can process your own water. And then think about it. Something like that may run you $200 or so. But how much water have you bought within the last year? When you can process your own water, put it back in the refrigerator. Those people that have those water systems, say like for instance on their refrigerator, that's not good enough. That filter is only going to do so much, and it may be just a carbon filter to clear out most of like the little particulates, because that water's coming from where? The sewage plant up the street in your neighborhood. So with you're purifying your own water, and if it pushed down to it, say you don't have a Big Berkey or Alexa Pure or whatever, most people are boiling their water and then putting a couple of drops of bleach in. I think it's like...
I'm not sure. I knew she was going to do that. He said...
I don't like Alexa.
And Alexa Pure.
That sucks. Anyway, that's a whole other story. So, basically, you boil your water and you put about 6 to 7 drops of bleach into each gallon. And that will purify your water. If you don't have bleach, you boil it, and you pretty much can filter it, through a t-shirt, a rag, sand. It's a process.
It's a layer.
Yeah, it's a layer. Charcoals if you have it. And that's another way to do so. But definitely have to boil it to kill all the animals that's squiggling in your water. I guess what will probably bring another issue. Say, for instance, if there's no more water to be had and you go down to your local stream or whatever, your bayou, that water can still be drinkable. But, of course, you're going to need to put that boiling process, because you think about it, animals are drinking out of it. People might be taking a dump in it, which brings all sorts of diseases and whatnot. So you definitely have to do a serious filtration process, but the boiling comes first.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
So you can definitely create your own water, basically your own water filtration source. So what is as far as like food preparation, is there anything else that we've missed as far as what needs to be done, as far as how much and all of that stuff?
Well,
you said 750 pounds
per
a year.
person.
I just want to repeat.
Yeah, per person. Well, not necessarily per year.
Would you recommend it be like a canned good per person per day? Or
that's up to you how you want to ration your food, but you know how much you or your family members eat. My biggest thing is, say for instance, if you're a nice person, then you prepare for those that refuse to prepare now. People that are stubborn, people that, I don't want to hear about no bad news type people, and like your family members that, of course, want to stay positive about situations. There's nothing negative about preparing for the future and something that you know is inevitable. No empire remains 100% on top forever.
None of them.
So with that being said, why not be smart? And especially for those that have the money now, they're going to feel real foolish when it comes down to the time to where you have nothing. You had money, your savings, your stocks, your bonds, that goes to zero if we get into a collapse.
It's literally what happened in the Great Depression.
Right. So now all of a sudden you had it, you was comfortable, now you poor. Very poor. All your electronics, you ain't got nothing to pawn. They don't want that shit. So there won't be no more pawn shop. You have people trade, but you're trading electronics. That's a wait. That's nothing. It's useless. The only thing that's gonna matter, like they say, bullets and beans. Now most people don't know this. Like say for instance, back in the past, the reason how the shot glass got its name. I believe I told you that story before. Shot glass got its name basically by cowboys used to go into a bar and trade a bullet for a shot of whiskey. That was a currency at one point. So you don't have no bullets, you ain't got no food, you have nothing to trade. And it's just that simple. Because in the barter and trade system, and then I guess if the economy gets reestablished, why do you think Russia, China, and all these other countries are buying up all the gold right now? Because that's what people are going to reestablish trade. We were once backed by
The gold
the
standard.
gold standard. We're no longer backed by the gold standard anymore.
Not since Bretton Woods.
Right. So they're buying up everything at this point. Guess what? Because your money's not going to be worth nothing. Use it while you got it. It's just a tool. It's not meant to be held on to for life or sitting there looking at those zeros in the bank, because that's all your bank account is ones and zeros. And it's easily wiped. Virus, hackers, what's to stop it? You just gave all your life savings to a bank that really don't have no allegiance to you. They don't really owe you anything. You ever try to go to the bank and try and take out 20 grand?
They ask questions. They ask so many questions.
Yeah.
They're so nosy.
They're going to give you third degree trying to get your money out. Then you may even become criminalized.
Like it ain't your money.
Right.
Like, why do you need $20,000 in cash?
Yeah, like you have to answer to them.
Well, I've never been so fortunate. But I can imagine, because I am a banker,
Okay.
that most folks would have a big problem with. I don't necessarily understand that in a collapse situation that we would probably be asking for regulatory questions like, can you prove to me who you are beyond the regular standard identification questions? But I can totally understand that when the need is there and the need arises and you want to take out your money.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically not your money. And that bank doesn't necessarily always have that amount of money currently on location. And that's something a lot of people don't understand. You want to take out $100,000, they have to call a truck over to, well, you sign this and you come back tomorrow and we'll have your money for you, because it has to be shipped to the bank. And a lot of people don't realize that. But that's a whole nother thing. If you're not in that financial bracket, most people probably wouldn't even know that anyway.
Right.
But my thing is, keep the minimal amount in the bank, pay your bills with it, keep the rest in your house or a safe place or wherever you may see fit. But I think more people need to invest in safes. So
A little bit
When
of
we
both, I
invest in
believe.
safes, we also need to invest in guns.
Yo,
This is another thing we need to do in order to prepare. So let's get on that topic,
Well, you
shall
definitely
we? We
have
need
to-
to be able to protect the things
Yeah.
that we are saving.
definitely.
Does everybody feel comfortable with that?
Preparing with guns
Yeah.
and
Yes.
weaponry. Do you feel comfortable being murdered for a can of red beans?
Well, let's just say you have to have with that food. Let's say with the food situation being taken care of, after that food or in the process of stockpiling that food, you have to have a way to protect it. There's nothing to stop people from running up in your house, taking whatever they want. So I do believe in home protection for sure, and being proficient with that weapon.
Yes.
That's huge. Being proficient is probably the key
most
word.
important part.
Yeah, because I mean, you can have a weapon. I know many people who have purchased weapons and